Hello everyone, welcome to Aptiplex Academy for Civil Services. And today's learning session through the News in Focus, that is a new initiative in our YouTube. So through the News in Focus, we'll see the important news that is relevant for the examination. And today's session, I'll be discussing about the biocomputers. So we'll see how biocomputer is going to change the part of the study and research process for human brain. And what is the important point that you must know from prelims and mains examination perspective? So without any further delay, let's get started. So how it has emerged in news? So what has happened actually recently, the scientists at Johns Hopkins University have proposed the creations of biocomputers using a new area of research called organoid intelligence. So they will be using OI to develop the biocomputers that will help to study the functions of the brain and even to control it to the larger extent. The scientists had expected that the technology harness the process of the power processing of the brain, where they will understand the biological basis of the human cognitions. So how they will study it? So they will study the human cognitions, learning, and the various neurological disorders. So for a human mind, there's a lot of activities that go, right? For a human brain, it has a speech and learning areas, it has taste area, it has a language area, it has virtual or visual area, auditory areas, and the cortex area. So every area of a brain have a different functions, and brain is something considered as to be the most complex part of a human body. Now, if you talk about the organoid intelligence, there's a complete graph that will show you. So this is how the biological computing or organoid function will take place. There is a process called AI or machine learning or a big data. The input in this segment include electric signals, chemical propulsions, and optogenesis, right? And the output for this part will be imagining and the part of the fluorescence and even the compact micrography. So this will study the brain organoid in 2D and 3D MEA, and this will be a proof that will be inducted to completely study, and the complex biological inputs will include retinal organoids and multiple brain organoids to study it in a better functions. Now, what is new biocomputers, how it will functions? According to the university research and scientists at Johns Hopkins University, it says that it will combine the brain organoids and it will have a modern computing methods called biocomputers. But this biocomputers will based on the, like when we use electrodes in the EEG, that is electrocardiogram, basically part in the ECG readings, we take the part of multiple electrodes, right? The same will go for the brain, and it will give us an idea how the machine learning can grow in further organoids of a brain and its flexible structure, right? So the structure will able to record the firing patterns of the neuron and also deliver the electric stimuli, mimicry, and even the part of the mimic sensory stimulus. So you can see there are kind of nerves that is operating, and that is recorded by electrodes. So there's motor, there's sensory and visual, right? So these combine, there's alpha ambulated broadband activities through which the part is recorded. So this is how the new biocomputers will actually function. Now, brain organoids की अगर बात करें, this is again an important term that has been reused in the research. So this is to develop a 3D system जहाँ पे 3D structures develop की जाएंगी brain की in a lab. This will be known as a brain organoids using the human stem cell. So this is a micro version or microscopic view of the brain organoids. It will capture many structural functional features for developing a human brain. और इसमें कोशिश की जाएगी that it will be developed in a various sensory inputs. So however the brain organoids will develop in the lab will lack some of the part, right? It cannot be completely as a human function, so it will lack on the part of touch, smell, visions, and blood circulation, which limits their growth and sophistication. So everything that is there in the laboratory setup has certain limitations. Now there was an experiment that was done by the scientists. They have transplanted the brain into the rat, right? Organoid culture के through rat में ये brain डाली गई, and they have found that they are able to control the part of circulation, right? They have formed the connections in the rat. This was done using the experimental rat light flash, indicating that the human brain and organoid can function on the same active mode. But again, there's a limitation because this is being studied on the environment and ambience of a human brain that is nested in a rat brain microenvironment and not in the human environment. So whether it will function same as in the human brain, it is difficult to say at this point of time. Now, there's advantages क्या हैंगे इस तरह की initiatives की, and even the brain computers that will be coming. So the brain organoids can develop using the stem cell will help in the cognitive, जो individual की cognitive disorders हैं उन्हें पूरे करने में, even to curb out. So this will help the biological basis of the human cognitions, learning, and memories. So this can be developed. If you see the part of the cognitive impartment which is there, it called for short-term memory, problem with abstract conceptualizations, attention deficit, and slow information processing are the disadvantages of the human cognition learning process. Now, these biocomputers can also help to have a pathology, जहाँ पे एक ड्रग्स के लिए खास करके न्यूरो डेवलपमेंटल और डिसजनरेटेड प्रोसेस जो है पार्किंसन डिजीज जैसे डिजीजेस को पढ़ने में समझने में मदद मिलेगी. बट द साइंटिस्ट आर ऑल्सो वर्किंग ऑन द चैलेंजेस टू एस्टैब्लिश द लॉन्ग टर्म मेमोरी एज वेल. If you see the part of the Parkinson disease, what actually happened, there's a substantia nigra that is developed. So these are the area which develop, and this predominantly further degenerate the part, and there's a part of the memory loss that take place, right? And even the part of the human body stimulus function is not proper in the Parkinson disease. Now, challenges की अगर बात करें, how it will call for a lot more challenges. So understanding the human brain as a difficult task and challenge, and even the brain organoids that will be developed will be less than 1 millimeter and fewer than lakh cells that has an average limiting of the computing capacity. उसके अलावा जो ऑर्गन डेवलप की जाएंगी लेबोरेटरी सेटअप्स में, द लिमिटेशन ऑफ द ऑर्गेनॉइड will be developed will be not relevant to the human system, right? So there's need to address the limitations, and there's a need to identify the ethical issues that is associated with this. So these all segment holistically need to be considered so that we are coming something with the productive and not the counterproductive. So these challenges must be addressed. So this was all about for this session. If you like this video, do not forget to subscribe Aptly Place Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. And even if you like, do not forget to give a thumbs up. This was all about for this topic. We'll meet in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.